Hi everyone, it's Tanya from Kapacha. Today we're going to look at one of the major tea families, green tea, and we're going to do that via looking at two of the major powerhouse green tea producing countries, China and Japan. And whenever I'm looking at something to do with Japanese tea, of course I have the lovely Harumi from OK-san Japanese Tea, and she is a certified Japanese tea instructor. Hi Harumi.
Hello, Tanya.
So the way we're going to show you the differences between these two styles of tea is we're going to brew some tea up, and we're going to, while we're brewing, we're going to talk about the different manufacturing styles, the type of liquor that is the flavours of the tea brew, and also the environment that the tea is grown in. So we're going to start brewing now.
Yeah, sounds good.
So today I'm going to brew a Chinese style tea. Well, it is actually a Chinese tea, and Harumi's going to brew up a Japanese tea. I'm brewing a Longjing or Dragon Well, which is one of China's famous teas. And Harumi is brewing up a curly green leaf tea, which is called
Asatsuyu, that's the cultivar's name.
Okay, and so we'll start now. I start with about 2 grams in this small teapot.
Okay, I have prepared 6 grams here for 100, say 50 ml.
So yeah, and this is 150 ml, okay. And I've got 2 grams, and Harumi's got 6 grams. Now, in the Japanese style, the water is brought to the boil.
Yes.
And then it's allowed to cool down in the
cooling pot.
That wasn't hard to say, was it? And that has achieved temperature. In Chinese style, the water is brought to temperature, and there's various ways that they look at it in China. When I was there recently, they either look at the size of the bubbles coming out, or they it's the sound of the water. Here in the Western world, we tend to use temperature control kettles. So we're both going to brew these teas for 2 minutes. So my temperature is 85 degrees on this one. Different brewing method is to bring out the different flavours within the teas. And Harumi and I were discussing earlier the differences between the Chinese and Japanese teas. We were discussing how tea is grown everywhere in the world, but China is the home of green tea, but Japan has developed their very own unique style, and any other style out there is virtually a variation of either Japanese or Chinese style teas. So starting from the beginning with China, the tea tends to be more hand-picked. It is also grown up more in the mountains, and I think this is more to do with regions of where it's all originated from, so that's the reason why it's still very much hand-picked, or the prize quality tea. In Japan, it's a smaller island, it's low.
Yeah, and it's more like most of the green tea area, it has a flat land, so they use the machines to pick the leaves.
So Japan developed mechanical harvesting very early on.
That's right.
And for them to develop the flavours, a lot of those flavours have developed through the processing of the tea. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also I have to add that still people hand picking, but that goes to the high quality tea.
Yes, correct. And with Japanese tea, there's a little bit more blending.
Yes.
And there's one single cultivar that's very popular. In Chinese, is that the 2 minutes?
Yes, 2 minutes, that's fast.
In Chinese, there are hundreds of different cultivars, and the green tea is known for not only the way it's processed, but the cultivar that is used. Now you'll see automatically there is a difference between the way we are actually pouring the tea. In a Japanese style, it is the cooling bowl is used for the water to cool down, and it is directly poured into the cups, isn't it?
That's right.
And she's evenly distributing between, Harumi is evenly distributing between the cups, down to that last drop.
Yes.
In Chinese style, it's more in the fairness cup. Here. And it's called the fairness cup, so the tea is distributed and poured more evenly for distribution into the cups. And you just pour up to about 80% of the cup. There. And it's so the tea is the stronger at the top and the weaker at the bottom, or vice versa, wherever the leaves are sitting, it is all mixed in. So it's the same with Japanese, by pouring a little bit in each cup as it goes around is, actually, you know what, I just remembered growing up in the English style tea, when we poured a pot of black tea out, we would do a little bit in each cup, because you always knew the first cup was a bit on the weaker side, and as you got to the bottom it was stronger.
Yeah.
So I just remembered it was something my dad taught me.
Oh.
So now we've poured the tea, you can see, first off I'm going to show you the difference between the two tea leaves. You can see that the Chinese is a lighter green and it's a full leaf, and this one is particularly, it's been flattened within the process in the dry pan. And the Japanese is deeper green. Bring that up closer to you. The Chinese is very light and a delicate, very light green, and the Japanese is a darker, more intense colour. So I'm just going to do a quick close-up of these teas and the tea leaves for you, so you can see that closely. So we're going to try. Yes. I'm going to give Harumi one of mine.
And this is for you.
And this is for me. So I'm going with the lighter one first. So with the Chinese, with the Longjing, which is a classic, is the slight nutty and a little bit of a light grassiness there.
Yes, that's right.
But it is very light, and that's because, like I say, in Chinese style, in the process of drying the tea, there is a pan, dry pan, or hot air drying. But with Japanese, what's distinctly with the Japanese style?
So we use the steaming first to stop the oxidation. So that's why it should have more grassy aroma.
And it's thicker.
Yes. And savory.
Savoury. Harumi loves her Japanese tea. It is thicker, it's savoury, but there's still grassiness and there's a sweetness there as well. It is a stronger punch of flavour, and it is like your equivalent to your espresso.
Yeah.
I call it the green tea espresso. But with the steaming process, Harumi, how long is that? It is only a short, quick steaming process, isn't it?
Yes, usually yes. Let's say 30 seconds.
Like 30 seconds, sometimes up to a minute, is it?
Yeah. Then we will go different way, but yes, if they want to make the deeply steamed tea, they go up to 1 minute. Yes.
Okay. The other thing in the production of Japanese tea is there's a lot of shading as well, isn't there?
Yes, it's really popular, but not all the teas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So when we talk about shading in the Japanese tea, the tea is actually covered with shade cloth, isn't it?
Yes, tea field itself is covered. So, for example, if they want to produce good quality tea, say gyokuro or tencha, then they will cover the tea fields about 20 days before picking the tea leaves. But if they want to make a good quality tea, which is we call kabusecha, so they will just cover about 7 days before picking the seasons.
Okay. So, and that is something that China doesn't really do. No, it's not part of a lot of their teas. They don't cover them at all. It's more the early spring picks, and they get up early and they pick the teas up into the mountains. But the Japanese tea, it's more that first infusion, isn't it?
Yes, first infusion you really taste the tea itself, and then if it's a good quality tea, you can brew up to 5 times. So it depends on the quality.
You can brew it up to 5 times,
Yes.
yeah? Okay, so it is the multiple infusions there as well.
Yes.
I know, but the first infusion is the best, isn't it?
Well, it depends.
It's the same. It's the same with the Chinese green tea, though. The first infusion is like the best.
So the first one has a more umami, and the second one, actually every infusion changes the taste. So the second one, astringency comes, a little bit bitterness comes, so the balancing act.
Where the Chinese green, it sort of starts, the first infusion is the best. This is the early spring pick teas, not your summer teas, which are more robust for everyday drinking. But the spring teas, it's the first one, and then it starts to peter off a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed today. I just want to reiterate that this is just a very general overview of the differences between Japanese and Chinese tea. And the reason why I chose those two teas is they are the powerhouses. They are the titans of the green tea industry, and their styles are very different to each other. So when you're out there and you're choosing a tea, these are some of the things that you can think about. But I strongly suggest to go out there and try them all. The Chinese teas in the spring and the summer, and the Japanese teas and the different, and see which one you actually like the flavour of.
Yeah,
but you can see there's different ways to enjoy them. And there is green tea grown in other countries, but these two countries are truly the benchmark of any green tea out there in the industry. So thanks for joining me today, Harumi. Thank you for keeping me in check and correcting me when I need corrected.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It's free, and I'll see you next time. See you later.